Coming to you live from Wind to Storm 2021 at the American Contractor stage. Check it out, American Contractor Show. Welcome back to the American Contractor Show booth. Once again, it's Friday here at Wind the Storm, and we have a really special guest with us today. We have the president and CEO of National Roofing Contractors Association, Mr. Reid Ribble here, congressman as well.
Yes, it's good to be with you.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming by and speaking to us a little bit, because I know for our industry, you have a lot of amazing knowledge that I think we need to share out and ask you some questions and hopefully spend a little bit of time with you before you hop on the main stage there.
All right, let's do it.
Well, thank you. So I'm curious a little bit. I know you guys have a lot of events going on this year, but let's just talk a little bit about the industry as a whole. You guys have this has been a really crazy year, I'm sure, for everybody. But what have you guys seen as far as NRCA and what kind of adjustments have had to be made?
You know, the biggest adjustments were how people go to work. First of all, when COVID hit, we were concerned that we could work at all. You know,
right.
Because the federal government was not going to allow roofing to be deemed as an essential service.
Right.
And we got our lobby team working on that right away in D.C. and then ultimately in every single state in the country to make sure that roofing contractors were deemed to be essential, because that was step number one. We had to make sure they could work. Now, we weren't successful in every state. We weren't successful in Pennsylvania and Michigan. We're successful in California, but we were successful in about 46, 45 states. So for the most part, our members had a pretty good year. And particularly in the residential sector, they had a really good year. And they had a really good year in institutional roofing, working for schools, hospitals, universities.
Well, that's interesting, because I guess since they were probably shut down anyways, no one was in the buildings, it gave us a unique opportunity to upgrade a lot of things.
That's for sure. And stop and think of a school district in any major city. The students are gone. They're now doing remote learning, so there's nobody there. And usually you've got 3 months, you know, June, July, and August to get that work done on a school. Now they had 8 or 9 months.
Wow.
And so there was a lot of acceleration of roofing work done in the public school sector. And so our members had a good year. And then obviously there was a lot of stimulus money going in, and people were getting checks at home. They were working from home, and they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go out to dinner. They couldn't go on vacations.
Right.
So they were cash rich, and they started fixing their roofs. And so residential roofing had one of the biggest years ever last year.
It's crazy to think about that. You know, we're at an event like this, and I've talked to contractors all over the nation as well, and it's the same story like what you're saying. Like, people have just had an amazing year. Yeah,
it was very big. And you can talk to any manufacturer. You can talk to ABC Supply over there. You can talk to anybody. And last year was a really good year. And we anticipate this year to be really good as well, except in one space. We are concerned about the shift from working in office buildings to working from home. For example, Ford Motor Company just announced that 30,000 workers, 30,000 were not coming back to offices. So that's going to result in a lot of empty office space.
You think that'll be long term?
I do. I think this is going to change how America works. And,
really?
And so you're going to have just a glut of office space nationwide. And of course, if those spaces aren't rented, then the landlords aren't being paid.
Right.
They're not going to fix their roofs.
Right.
And so, and we have to also remember there were 10 million small business bankruptcies last year. And so this was a real shock to the economy in that commercial roofing arena. Institutional roofing, we still think is going to be good. Industrial roofing in the manufacturing space, we think is going to be good.
Yeah, I know, because we've been looking at space too, and it's impossible to find flex space or any type of warehouse space, but you can find office space all day long.
That's correct.
Subleased out for pennies on the dollar almost.
That's
it's crazy. So that's an interesting shift, and you kept saying accelerate. Like, a lot of things have accelerated a lot of, throughout the last year. One of the things that I've been noticing in the industry, and you can maybe fill us in on this a little bit more and give us your outlook on it, but I've noticed that there's been a lot of movement of solar, and there's been a lot of there's been some acquisitions in our space, like more than I've seen in the years past.
the acquisition space on the residential side is now starting to catch up to what we were seeing on the commercial roofing side about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we are seeing a lot of acquisition taking place. We're seeing it in distribution, seeing it in manufacturing.
I mean, even the roofing companies, though.
But that's correct. And then with roof construction, you're actually seeing contracting side as well. And so there's a lot of it there. And you mentioned solar. I'm going to be talking about that on the main stage here in a little bit, because they wanted me to talk what are some of the emerging trends we're seeing. And fully integrated solar is one of the things that I'm going to be speaking about, because it is going to be the next wave as we begin to move from carbon-based automobiles, from gas and diesel.
Yeah, I like my gas truck.
And going to electric.
Yeah.
The grid itself doesn't fully support that. And so the idea of powering your car at your home is going to begin to happen a lot.
Right.
And the ability, stop and think what happened in Texas a few months ago, about a month ago. They had all those ice storms and people were out of power for weeks.
Yeah.
Stop and think though, if all those people had fully integrated solar roofing on their home.
Oh yeah. But totally different deal.
Okay, they're free. And I know how that goes. In my own home I'm off grid. And so my home is generating enough power for me to not be connected if I don't want to be.
Well, and that being said, though, that changes the way our space operates, especially as I combine the solar and the acquisitions conversation into one, because where I've seen the acquisitions more aggressively is coming from the solar side into the roofing space, where solar companies are buying roofing companies.
That's because they don't have manpower to install solar.
Correct.
And for whatever reasons, roofing contractors haven't wanted to get into this space.
Right.
They're either fearful of it, or
we're a little more reluctant.
They're reluctant to move away from what they're already doing. But there's a lot of money to be made in this space.
Yeah.
And I think it's the next wave of the future. I think there's two things that are coming. One is daylighting. The idea of skylights and the idea of solar tubes and things like that. People want to bring the outdoors into their homes.
Right.
And the more they work from home, the more they want that outdoor light, that natural light coming in.
Right, which I love those little solar tubes.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great, yeah.
And so I see a big opportunity for roofing contractors in solar and in daylighting. Those two things are key.
So if I'm a contractor and I'm thinking, okay, I've been reluctant to get into solar until now, how seriously should I be looking at it, and what should I be doing to change that?
I think you should be very seriously looking at it.
Right.
You've got a lot of major companies you're already working with that have fully integrated solar. GAF has it.
Yeah.
CertainTeed has it. I'm going to leave somebody out. Tesla has it.
Yeah, we're shooting with Tesla next week.
Tesla has it. And so there's a number of these companies. And in this new infrastructure bill that the president is proposing, $2.2 trillion, there's a lot of money for American-made solar.
That's a big difference.
Not solar made outside of the U.S.
Which is almost all of it.
Made here. Yeah, not all of it, but a lot of it
most
is.
of it. A lot of it is, yeah.
A lot of it is.
That's a big change. That changes the whole solar manufacturing.
But he's also talking about you're not going to get that $7,500 EV credit for your car unless the car is made in the U.S. So stop and think about Audi, who makes their Audi e-tron in Slovenia.
Right.
They're going to have to move that onshore if they want to have that tax.
Fascinating. There's a lot of changes happening.
There are.
This industry is shifting quickly, and I think if you're a contractor listening to this, you definitely need to be mindful of all these different changes that are happening.
Yeah, and remember that it's not rocket science. It feels like it's rocket science because it can be new.
It's new. It's different.
But it's not. You already know how to waterproof buildings. You already know how to do those things. And now instead of waterproofing a building with a piece of slate or a piece of asphalt shingles,
you're
waterproofing it with a piece of glass.
Yeah.
And it's all the same. I mean, water runs downhill.
I agree. It's so fascinating, this whole change, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be in roofing because, I mean, we're going through so many different moving pieces here that are just going to change the way our industry looks and the landscape of it, which I'm sure presents a unique challenge to you guys to navigate all that. But thankfully, you guys are doing that. You guys have your conference coming up.
Yep.
Will there be a lot of that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so at the IRE, that we had to move it. So
right.
It got moved a couple of times, and now it's in
and
August.
You guys did a phenomenal virtual event, too.
Yeah, we did a virtual event, and now we're going to have an actual live event in Las Vegas in August, and then a live event here in this building next February.
Okay.
And the IRE draws about 15 to 17,000 people.
We love the IRE. It's a great conference.
So it's a big event.
Yeah.
And we do, NRCA has got a great partnership with Informa. And we do a lot of the technical education in that space on health and safety, on technical stuff, anything related to risk management. We train foremen. There's a lot that goes on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I know a lot of our viewers will be there. I always meet some great contractors and great vendors at IRE. So we're really thrilled to be there, and it's an honor to be here with you today. So
it's great to be with you.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. If you guys make sure that you follow NRCA and everything that they're doing, sign up for the IRE, be there in Vegas in August. It's a shame we had to move it, but I understand, and it's going to be a great event nonetheless, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you so much, Mr. Ribble, and we'll see you up there on the main stage.
All right, great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching today's show. Make sure to like and subscribe our pages so that you can stay up to date with every episode. And by the way, this show is all about you, the American contractor. Be sure to comment and let us know what you want to hear about and what subjects you want us to touch on. We'll be sure to include them in a future episode. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.